Hi! I'm so sorry it's taken me such a long time to record another video. The solstice literally took me down, and I mean down. So like the 4 days leading up to the solstice, I was so tired, no energy whatsoever. And I had a full week of clients booked in over the solstice, and literally every single one in that week cancelled. So that was great for me because I was so tired. But literally, that tells me a lot. It tells me that everybody that's on this path, they're all going through the same thing. They're all dealing with the ascension energies. And it's really getting real now, guys. It really is getting real. Over the solstice period, a few people that were a part of my life literally popped. Their minds blew. I saw so much aggression coming up over the solstice in people that I know, people that would normally be calm, but they got quite aggressive over the solstice. And I have to admit, for me, over the solstice, I felt I'm a pretty happy person, like generally speaking, but I felt over the solstice a lot of anger, and I didn't know where it came from. Just wasn't mine, just anger. And I guess there's light workers, as star seeds, as energy healers, as people that are going through the ascension process, we're having to deal with all of the anger and the energy that's coming up from all of the people that are going through this process, because we really are doing it. This is happening. Now, this video today, it's probably got a darker tone than the videos that I normally share. Normally my videos are all unicorns and love and light and rainbows and happiness and all that sort of thing. But I think it's important that we acknowledge the fact that there is darkness on this planet, because we live in a realm of duality. In our 3D world, there is duality. There's dark and there's light. And together we intermingle. And we all have choices to make on this path. Now, I had a client this last week that had a session where a great deal, not all, but a great deal of a session was centered around the reptilians. And this information, I felt, was very, very important to share, because I know there will be a lot of people on the planet right now who will identify with this information that this client shared in her session, and she's given me permission to share this information, which is great. All my clients give me permission to share their information. I would not share their information if they didn't. Before we go into the information that I gleaned from her session, I would just like to tell you a little bit about where I am in terms of this. So, as a quantum healing practitioner, I often get people that mention the reptilians, but I've never ever had the level of detail that this lady shared in her session. And to be honest, in the session that we did, it absolutely blew my mind. And I'll tell you for why. Because I am always searching for new information. I'm always searching to try and understand what the hell is going on this planet. We've all been brought into this world. We all grew up not knowing who we were, what's going on. We've all been told one thing, and yet now we're all realising when we're awakened that actually it's something entirely different. And if you look back through all of the ancient scripture and you connect the dots through QHHT, which is a fantastic medium. Thank you, Dolores Cannon. We start to understand more about what is really going on our planet. So the first thing I would like to talk about before I tell you the information from the session is my understanding of our world. Now, before I go into this, I want to say this is my understanding. This is where I am. This is my truth. If you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine, because that's your truth. That's your journey. If I upset you because you have a religion and what I say now does not marry with your religion, then that's also fine. That's your truth. This is my truth. This is my journey. This is my journey that I'm sharing for people who want to listen. So please do not think that I'm saying it's this way and no way. I'm not saying that. I'm on my own personal, individual quest to find out what is actually going on this planet. And so far, this is what I've learned. And I will say at this point that I was brought up very religious. I was brought up as a Christian. And when I was a child, I knew every single part of the Bible. I could spout it chapter and verse. I could tell you everything that anybody in the Bible had ever said. So I know all about the Bible because I was brought up that way. I studied it. But on my journey through life, my opinion on certain things have changed. And this is my truth. This is my journey. It might not resonate with where you are, but that is also fine. We don't have to be wrong and right. It's just our own personal journey. So this video is just for people who are open-minded and want to listen to the information that I have gleaned on my journey. So if you're very, very religious and you take severe offence to what I'm about to say, I'm very sorry, and I do not mean to give you any offence at all. And please just understand that you are on your journey and I'm on my journey, and this is my journey. Okay, I'm glad we got that sorted out. So I've read a lot of stuff through my time on this planet. All I do, I have no life. Literally, I have no life other than being a mother, a wife, and a QHHT practitioner, a hypnotherapist. That's all I do. I don't do anything else. But what I enjoy to do in my spare time, which is not that often, but I get probably about an hour every night, I like to read. And I've read most of what is out there now in terms of literature about how our world works, about the other planets, all that kind of thing. And through Dolores Cannon and through my own work that is based upon her work, I have come to realise that our Earth, we have the first dimension on our Earth, which is water, air, fire. I believe crystals are also in the first dimension. Again, if any of this I'm saying doesn't resonate with you or you believe is wrong, please do let me know, because I'm searching for the truth, just like you are. The second dimension are animals, and when they raise their consciousness in so much as like they're a dog or a cat, and they get a more individualized consciousness, then in a later incarnation they can then come to be human. So as humans on Earth, we are in the third dimension. And the reason I'm talking about this tonight is because this lady talks about the reptilians who are in the fourth dimension. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because through my research and my reading of several books, but in particular The Law of One, I know that there are several dimensions on every planet. And on our Earth, we have the third dimension. When we get to the fourth dimension, so through all the periods of time that we've had on our planet, prior to what we know as our existence, there has been several opportunities for evolved beings to go one way or the other way in terms of polarization. So polarization is positive or negative. So if you read the law of one, the law of one, it explains that when beings evolve to a certain state in polarity, they can either ascend towards the positive or the negative. Now, people will often say to me in sessions, like in the chat before we go into the actual session, but Laura, I don't get it. So like, I read all this stuff about there's reptilians in the fourth dimension, but there's also fairies and mermaids and all the magical creatures in the fourth dimension. So how does that work? Well, I'll tell you how that works. Again, read the law of one. But how that works is, when you go up the dimensions, you can either go up in a positive polarity or a negative polarity. The fae and the mermaids are all in the fourth dimension positively polarized. The reptilians have evolved into a fourth dimension that is negatively polarized. So it's two separate dimensions, both in the fourth, but one is negatively polarized, one is positively polarized. So no, they're not sat having a chat. A fairy and a reptilian is not sat having a cup of tea, chatting about stuff. They're in different dimensions, both in the fourth. Reptilians negatively polarized, the fae, mermaids, unicorns, you name it. All of the mythical creatures that are still on this planet, mermaids, are still in the fourth dimension, positively polarized. Now, so these people that have had near-death experiences, that are quite nasty people, and they have this near-death experience, and they say, I've been to hell, and I'm going to change my ways when I come back here. My guess, and again, this is just my opinion, my guess is that when they have left their meat suit on this 3D world, when their consciousness left, because their polarity was negative, they have briefly passed into the reptilian fourth dimension. So our legends of demons and all this sort of stuff comes from that. The people that have the positive near-death experiences go into the positive fourth dimension. Now in the fourth dimension there are various different levels. So there is a level that has all of the mythical creatures that we understand, that we've heard of in legend. And the reason we've heard of them in legend is because at one point, before we fell in consciousness, before the fall of Atlantis, we could see them. Or at least the people in Atlantis, in this one portion of Earth that was at the level of fifth dimensional consciousness at that time, they could see them. So that's why they still survive in our history and our teachings. So you've got the fae, you've got mermaids, and mermaids were created in the time of Atlantis. I've read that in Dolores' books, but I know that to be true because I've hypnotized so many clients that have gone into the times of Atlantis, and they have been mermaids, or they've seen mermaids. So when the times of Atlantis, when the consciousness on this planet fell, those mermaids that were created in that time still exist, even now, on our planet, but they're in a different dimension to us. So in the fourth dimension, you've got all of the magical beings, and then above that, not above in terms of they're better than, but just another layer of the fourth dimension, you have the spirit world. So my opinion on all of this, and again, it is just my opinion, so please don't shout at me, because I don't read the shouted comments, I just delete them. But my opinion is, when we ascend, all this light that's coming into the planet, that's happening now for our ascension, it's raising our consciousness, it's allowing us to raise up to the level of the fourth, the positive fourth, if we are positive. For ascension, my belief is that we will raise to the fourth, we will rise through the fourth and up to the fifth dimension. So that then means that all of our loved ones that are in that fourth dimension that's positively polarized, then if they're still in that dimension, so if they haven't already reincarnated in another body back on this planet to enjoy the ascension in the physical, if they're still in the spirit world, then they too have the opportunity to raise up to the new earth. So what that means is, if you have loved ones that are in the spirit realm that have not reincarnated back on earth as children, grandchildren, obviously all in our familial lines, then they too have the opportunity to rise up with us to the fifth dimension. Now, when I had a QHHT session a long time ago now, 2.5 years ago, I went to New Earth. I was there with my husband and my 2 girls, and I lost a little boy in between having my 2 children, and my little boy was there. I saw him. He was on New Earth. So I believe that with every fibre of my being, that those of us that have lost loved ones recently, those loved ones are waiting for us on New Earth, or they're currently finishing off their lessons in the fourth dimension that will allow them to ascend when we do as well. So I just wanted to kind of explain that from where my consciousness is now. And again, this is just where my consciousness is. You that is watching this may know so much more than me. And if you do, I would really, really, really love to know it, because all I ever want is to know more. So please don't tell me I'm wrong, because I probably am. Tell me what you know. If there's something that I've said in this video that you don't like, I will absolutely listen to your opinion, because I'm a being of light. I'm a being of love, and all I want to do on this planet is raise people's consciousness. So at least we know what we're dealing with, and we know what's happening right now. So I'm going to read this session that I had with this lady the other day, and I will let you make your own minds up about this information. But this is the first very lengthy piece of information that I have got in a session with regards to the reptilians. So I wanted to share it. And just again, to reiterate what I said earlier, the reptilians live in the fourth dimension that is negatively polarized. So how they work is they're in the fourth dimension, negatively polarized, and they link in to the people on this planet right now that are doing all of the bad things. Just how we can see spirit, we can see our loved ones, we can talk to our loved ones, we can connect with our guides. On the positive side, these beings link in to the people on this planet that have chosen the dark path as opposed to the light path. Okay, I'm going to read it. Right, so my client says, to start off with, there is a dark influence. Anytime we have a negative thought which doesn't feel like our own, it is implanted. We don't realise it, and then it is fed to us. Who is it implanted by? I'm seeing technology and a lot of things I don't feel like I can understand. When I was a child, I knew that aliens were doing stuff to me, not good things, and I would feel very unwell. I would feel almost robotic at times. I'm starting to realise that implants are the issue. Alien implants, but they are not in my body as such. They are in the etheric. They are affecting my brain and something about my spine and my neck and my shoulders. As a child, I felt like I was taken over, speeded up and slowed down. Like I'd left my physical body and I felt like a robot and a puppet. It feels like something is interfering. I feel stopped, speeded up and slowed down. Who are these aliens that have put in these implants? I was wanting to say Anu, but I feel unsure. There are grey aliens. Oh, I'm seeing different forms now, a bit more scarier looking. Describe what they look like. Dragony, green, lizardy. Are they reptilians? Yes, reptilians. Green, lizardy skin. Their tongue and eyes. Very dark beings. Very dark. Oh, I'm seeing lots of different forms of reptilians. Why have they put these implants into you? They can't exist without me. They have fear of not existing. They really are dark. I'm seeing now just how dark they are. Why can't they exist without you? It's all making sense of the experiences I've had. I have an ability 1 minute and then the next it's gone. They are fighting so hard right now and they are attacking me so hard by the looks of this image that I can see. Why are they fighting so hard? I'm doing this ascension process to return to power and a reunion with my twin flame, and they can't stand it. Anything good, they can't stand it. They love enslaving me. They are feeding off my emotions. I don't know how it works, but they are feeding off them. I'm seeing all different dark forms, lots of dark forms. Why have they chosen you to do this? Most of them look green and reptilian. Then there's some that look alien with small red eyes and battle gear on. It's an outfit like metal. It looks like they're dressed for battle. Who are they battling against? They don't like my soul mix. They feel like I'm theirs. But most of me is not theirs. I'm a very different mix of soul. They see me as theirs for their food. They don't want to lose claim of me as their food source. They don't want me to ascend. Why are you a great food source? My emotions and anguish are delicious to them. They want to cause as much turmoil as they can to feed off, to keep them full and going on this planet. They knew this time was coming, and all these souls who are ascending would be purging their darkness. I can see how strong they are in their will to win. To them, it is all about winning. They don't see humans as anything. They want to claim me and win this victory. Are they in a different dimension to us? Yes, there's so many ways that they do this. I'm seeing lots of technology that they are using. What is this technology? It looks quite difficult to understand. It's like I'll receive something and it's robotically programmed. So many souls receive a thought and an emotion and it's not theirs. They put these thoughts in. Sometimes I've been aware there's no way that that is my thought or my emotion. They really are fighting hard over this reality now. They know that they can lose. They know that they can lose. Yes, but they will fight to the end. There's always hooks in. They know a soul's weakest areas, like psychological issues. They're straight in on the weak areas with thoughts and emotions. And they are not theirs. They're from the reptilians. I think I have implants in my neck and spine. I don't really understand it all. It's so easy for them to do this. How is it easy for them to do this? Mostly it's energy loops that have been playing in my mind forever. Mostly it's fear. They love that. They like to incite all the range of dark emotion and all the chaos. It's all a vicious trap. It's very dark. I can't even perceive how dark this is, to live off of someone's suffering. They get their lightness, their joy, from siphoning their energy off of me. As a child, I had this sense of energy being taken from me. How do they get these implants into our bodies? There's various ways. There's lots of things that they do. Even the etheric ones, the etheric implants, are powerful. I'm starting to think I do have them physically, as I have some strange sense that I do. In my stomach, I'm getting a feeling of how they feel when they are feeding giddiness, feeding on our pain. It feels delicious to them. Does everyone have these implants, or just certain people? Just certain people, but they are currently doing the worst they can on everyone at the moment. They take everything that they can. I am seeing certain dates and times astrologically that they can cause trauma and events which allows them to feed. Even if it's not a negative event, it could be a positive event, and they will feed off of our energy. They particularly like people feeling fear and being caught in a trap. Fear of being caught with nowhere to run, and this gives them a crazy amount of food. Where do these beings live? In the fourth dimension. They are always watching me to see when they can get the most food. How are they watching? I'm shocked at how well they know me. How is it that they know us? How is it that they know our fears? They can engineer situations that they want by planting thoughts in our minds to create emotional responses that will benefit them. They can make it a really strong loop in certain people. I am seeing that I am a prime candidate. It's really sad. They like playing on self-worth. It's just a game to them to feed on what they can get from us. We need to find out about these implants. So at this point, she was starting to get quite distressed, and I knew that I needed to stop. This was in the past life that I was getting this, and I needed to bring her higher self through, and we needed to get rid of these implants that she has in her body, in the physical, in the etheric. So I bring her higher self through, and this is the next part of the session. And this is me, this is what I say. We found out today and I'm going to refer to my client as my client, because obviously everything I do is anonymised. We found out today that my client has some implants placed in her physical body and her etheric body, placed there by reptilian beings. Can you tell us where these implants are, please? Yes, there's quite a lot. They're in all different places in her energy field. This is back to me. I would like to ask you as my client's higher self today, and for Archangel Michael and all of the archangels who feel that they can help in this today, and spirit guides, I would like to ask for you all to come in now and do your work and take these implants out of her. Break the ones down in her physical body with white light so that they can be passed easily from the body. Archangel Michael, I'd like to ask you to bring your blue sword and chop all of the cords that are currently embedded in her etheric field leading to the reptilians. Chop them all away and seal them with white light, so nothing else that is malevolent can ever penetrate within my client again, so that her etheric field is protected and safe with white light. Anything that is in my client will be broken down by white light and naturally passed from the body. Can I ask that you do this for me today? And then all that happened. And I saw it all happen, which was pretty awesome. Higher Self says yes. Is there anything else that my client needs to know to protect herself from these reptilian beings hooking into her again? No, she knows now. Can you confirm to me today that the implants have been broken down both within her body and in the etheric field of her body so that she is protected and safe? Yes. It will be hard work with the ascension energies, bringing up her darkness for transmutation. She must work hard daily to protect herself with white light. It will be challenging, and any negative emotion, she must release it as soon as it is felt. Shedding and releasing the old self that no longer serves her. She must make affirmations that she is constantly releasing the past. And again, I say, just to make sure that the work is done and that she can leave my office protected and safe, I say, can I ask you as my client's highest self, her spirit guides, her star family, can I ask all of you to support her more than ever? That help is needed in this dimension in the lead up to the ascension. Can I also ask that you support my client in keeping these reptilian beings as far away from her as possible? Whatever is in your power to do as my client's higher self, please support her in any way possible in raising her vibration for ascension and keeping the reptilians away from her. And her higher self says yes. So that session really blew my mind, in particular because a lot of my sessions I get lots of lightness and unicorns and mythical magical beings. That's predominantly who comes to me. But I am a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner. I can deal with the dark as well as the light. And a lot of people who are the light have somehow along the way attracted the attention of the darkness. And this is something else that I will say right now. Any light workers that are watching this, any starseeds, anybody who is genuinely the light, things are ramping up now. I personally am finding this in my own life. Things are ramping up. People are sent into our lives to infiltrate us, to take us down. People are sent into our lives online to infiltrate us and take us down. To all of the people that are doing that in my life, I know exactly who you are. You may not think I do, but I do, because I'm hooked in. And to all of those people out there who are light workers that are also facing situations, you will know. Listen to your heart space. Listen to your intuition. You will always know when things don't feel right. Your spirit guides, your higher self always directs you. You know when things don't feel right. Listen to that intuition. Things are ramping up now. This is a spiritual battle on earth. So we've got the fourth dimension, reptilians. We've got the fourth dimension, spirit world, fae, mermaids, all the mythical beings. We've got the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Keep going on this side. That side only goes to the fifth. Before, at that point, naturally, to polarize negatively, when you get to the fifth, at that point you realise that you're actually doing yourself a disservice, staying in the negative path, because you're not going to go forwards. So when you get to the fifth dimension, they always cross over at that point. If any of this seems strange to you, I would urge you all to read the Law of One, because it describes it in the Law of One. It's a difficult read. There's 5 books, but I would strongly urge all of you that are genuine light workers to read the Law of One, because you will learn a lot from that. And if you ever get these people online that are forcing you into routes to go into direct messaging and are telling you things that you know aren't true, then you know in your heart space it's not right. And also, if you get people in your life that have suddenly come into your life and all of a sudden are trying to take you down a route that you think is wrong, listen to your heart space. Because when you're on the path of ascension, the only way is the light. And the final thing I would like to say to you before I leave you tonight is, if you are new to the ascension path, you've just woke up and you want to know a little bit more about raising your vibration for ascension, please buy my book, Raise Your Vibration for Ascension, a guide to visualization mastery. No, that's the other one. A guide to help you vibrate high. You can find this on Amazon. You can buy it all over the world. And if you're going to do a QHHT session wherever you are in the world, and you've got it booked in, or you're interested in booking one in and you're booking it, and you want to make sure that you are prepped and ready for your QHHT session, then buy this book, which is also mine, Prepare Yourself for Hypnosis, a guide to visualization mastery. Again, you can get both of those books on Amazon all over the world. And finally tonight, I just want to thank each and every one of you who watches my videos. Please do subscribe. It's free. It's free. I don't charge anybody to watch my videos, and I never will do, because the information that I bring it out to the world because it needs to be shared. Just because I'm in the position of being a QHHT practitioner doesn't mean I want to keep all this information to myself. If my clients allow me to share it, then I will share it, because I think everybody needs to know this stuff. So please subscribe. There will be more videos to come. I love you all and have an absolutely perfect day. See you soon.